So in order to remove the bearings from this rotor, I need to remove the rotor. My regular gear puller is not big enough to pull that off. So I've got some steel that I've got laid out, and I'm going to make a special gear puller to remove this rotor. This is the fan from the outboard end of the motor. I need to make sure these fingers fit in between those fins. That's pretty good. So several users on, or members on OWWM have had different experiences with pulling these rotors off. One guy said he just barely tightened it up and the rotor popped off. Another guy indicated that he needed to tighten it up pretty tight and give it a rap with a hammer, and he did that for several days, each day tightening it and giving it a rap with a hammer before it finally popped loose. So we'll see how this works out for me. I think I'm going to put a band clamp around this to hold these fingers in against the rotor. Off camera, I made a few changes. One, I moved this strap down as far down as I could and made it pretty tight so it's holding those legs in. I also adjusted this so that it was parallel to the base here. And this plate was kind of whoppy jawed, so it's pretty parallel now. And I've got that pretty tight. Okay, so I've been running a real light torch on this for about 11 minutes now. I'm going to see if I can tighten these fasteners up. And this is just a little bit too hot for me to touch with my bare hands, so it's pretty warm. Still doesn't want to budge. Well, it's been a few hours since I applied that heat, and I've been tightening these nuts up a little bit more periodically and giving a rap with a hammer every now and then, and just hoping that eventually it'll pop loose. Okay, it's been about a day and a half since I first put this on here. Let's tighten these up a little bit. Give it a rap with a hammer. Yesterday I put some more coil oil in here, hoping that might help loosen it up. So we'll just keep at it. Okay, we're into our second day of this process. I may try some heat again on it. Okay, well, we're coming up on 6 days we've had this on here. We'll keep at it. Well, we're coming up on 8 or 9 days of this, I'm putting lots of Croil oil down in here, hoping it'll seep into that interface there. And I've really got these things wound up pretty tight. In addition to continuing to tighten these, I've taken to bashing this with a mallet periodically. I keep hoping this will pop loose one of these times. So it's been 18 days since I put this puller on here, and during that time I've put like half of this bottle of Croil on there, and I've probably put half an ounce, maybe an ounce of this 3-in-1 on there. And these things are turning, wow, these things are turning really easy now. Wow, and there you go. That's not very much of a taper, no wonder it's so hard to get off. So let's see. Doesn't look like it messed up that aluminum fan too much. Good deal. Come in. Hi. Okay, well, it didn't fall out, so actually there it goes. There it goes. Good deal. So now I've got access to both bearings, front or inboard and outboard bearings. Before I get to this puller, I want to point out that these rings they're eccentric. So this inner ring is oriented differently than the outer ring. So there's the inner ring is even with the cutter head almost on one side, and then the outer ring is even with the cutter head on the opposite side. Something to keep in mind as I take that apart. So I took this plate that I was using to pull the rotor off of the shaft, and I drilled some new holes in it so that they line up with these. And then I use these tie rods. They happen to be the right size to thread into these 3/8 18, I guess 3/8 16 holes. So let's see if we can pull this bearing off. I was a little hesitant to do this because I didn't want to break this trying to pull the bearing off. So we'll see how it goes. Let me get a bigger wrench. I really don't want to break that cast iron sleeve. Okay, the bearing's coming off now. Very good. Well, thanks for watching me struggle to get that rotor removed from the spindle. And I got the bearings removed from the cutter head as well, with the same puller. In the next episode or two, we'll make some more homemade bearing pullers, and then we'll start refurbishing the bearings.